Now let us talk about 4mm. Now what would the rule that applies in this? So the rule of disparity is what we talk about. So disparity means everything has to be parallel in nature. So if you look at the front view, so the fourfold is kept as the vertical. In your room, the pillar, the z-axis becomes the fourfold axis. Okay. Now you have a mirror plane that is parallel to the z-axis. That means that the mirror plane is actually going through the z. Just like if you look at your sheets, the rule lines are parallel to the plane. That means they are in the plane. So there are two planes which can keep the z-axis in themselves. One is the z-x plane, one of your walls, and the other is the z-y plane. So these are the two mirror planes that we are talking about. The xy plane is the mirror that is perpendicular to z. That means it is perpendicular to the fourfold. We are not talking about that mirror here. We are talking about the mirrors that are parallel to it, and these are the two mirrors that are parallel. Okay. So this is the graphical representation. You imagine the z-axis being the fourfold axis and these two planes being the mirror planes. In your room, the pillar becomes the z, and the two walls coming out of that pillar become the mirror planes. Okay. So let us draw the stereographic projection for this. Because we are talking about fourfold, again, the reference grid must be such a line. So you start with the motif here, a solid motif ahead of the line. After you do the fourfold rotation, you have something like this. Every motif is ahead of the line. Okay, you check this. You check that the motif is ahead of the line. Maybe by mistake you have drawn something that is incorrect. You can always check ahead of the line, ahead of the line, ahead of the line, and ahead of the line. So the fourfold is rightly created here. Now we talk about the first mirror. Now the first mirror was actually a vertical mirror. The zx and the zy planes are vertical planes. They are not horizontal planes. So one of the plane would be something like this, going in the north-south direction inside the screen, and the other mirror would be in the east-west direction, going inside the screen, cutting it into. Okay. So let us draw the first mirror. So this is the first mirror that we talk about. This is in the north-south direction. So what will the mirror do? Mirror will make a replica. So it takes this motif and places it right here. It takes this motif and places it right here. Okay. They are not open circles. A mirror is putting it in just in front of it. Okay. It is not doing a 180-degree rotation like the twofold. Now this mirror will also create a mirror image of this motif. So these motifs were nearer to the mirror, but the mirror plane will actually work on everything. So this motif far from the mirror will have a replica right here, and this motif will have a replica right here. Okay. Now let us draw the second motif or second mirror plane. That would be the east-west mirror. This would replicate anything in the northern part of the image to the southern part. So you see that this motif replicates here. It is already done. This motif replicates here. Already done. This motif replicates here. It is already done. And this motif replicates here. That motif replicates downwards. Already done. Okay. So in previous examples, 4-2, just like that, the first fourfold and the first mirror automatically generates the second mirror. Okay. Now, do you have a horizontal mirror plane here? You do not. If you would have a horizontal mirror plane, every motif would have a dotted counterpart, which we do not have. Okay. So that is why we draw a a dotted circle as the horizontal. Now this is the image that I drew. So if you compare, so they are similar images. The fourfold generated this first, this, then this, and then this, and this mirror generated this pair, this pair, this pair, and this pair, and the third mirror plane was automatically generated. Now, just like the earlier 422 class, we started with 2 mirrors, but in the end, we have another conjugate pair of mirrors at an angle of 45 degree. If you want to check, you can check that if we talk about this mirror along AB, along this line, the mirror is functioning just fine. Along this line also, it is functioning just fine. So what these lines that I am talking about. So this was the A, B mirror. Now a mirror will function in these directions. These directions are actually perpendicular to the mirror. Okay. So the first direction perpendicular to the mirror, the motives are there. The second direction, the motives are there. In the third direction also, you have the motives. Again, you have the motives. So this mirror plane is functioning just fine. Now in your home, you practice looking along the second mirror of this conjugate pair, and you will see it is functioning